the Sim Racer's Performance Guide, your guide to race setup, strategy, driver performance. Dive in deep, learn about suspension, aero, braking, drivetrain, with a 77-page manual packed full of hours of video tutorials as well.
Hello, I'm Jack Nichols and welcome to
Who's going to break his world title?
These two go.
He's going to do it. His first victory.
The World Championship is done. What a race it's been.
Yeah, have a good one, boys. Let's get it.
Shot is the next on our hit list here as we really head towards the end of our calendar, and we've got a very exciting one in store. The championship still boiling alive, still 19 points between Zeuuw and Schluter, and we've got 4 rounds left for Spa here, then over in Monza, and then Singapore, and coming down to our finale at Interlagos. Very well, welcome here to the 7th round of the championship. Remco is on the broadcast directing side of things, and joining me alongside is my fellow good friends Ross McIntyre and David O'Reilly. It's been a short while, Ross, but you've came in through last minute. How are you?
Very tired. Yes, I've been. I was on a 12-hour endurance in Wales yesterday, and I should have been back ages ago. There was traffic, so I've literally got back in the nick of time. Thank the Lord and the racing gods to be here. But yes, really well. Thank you, Amir. Pleasure to be here. Of course. What a round it is. What a championship as well. Couldn't think of a better way to spend my Sunday evening.
Yeah, I certainly can as well. David joins alongside us as well, having recently just been in pro as well. And, well, you have seen Francorchamps in the forefront as well, David. It's going to be pretty much one of the most exciting circuits that we're going to be around here in FSR, I imagine.
Yeah, well, Francorchamps, what is there not to love? Huh? It's a circuit we all know and love, and there's a couple of ways to be quick here. You can be quick by having a bit of wing for Sector 2 and have tyres in good condition, or you can be quick for the straight bits and try to look after your tyres. We saw some pretty funky tyre strategies in pro, but we've got now the best guys in the world. We appear to only have 12 guys on the grid, but we do have the best 12 drivers in Formula SimRacing World Championship, so we're going to still have a hell of a fight for the points. The standings are intriguing at the moment. Mark Schluter has been making some good inroads into Alex Lahou's lead in the championship, but it was a bit unfortunate in Silverstone. A lapped car kind of gave it away, and he ended up with second. We probably would have won it, and he got Zeuuw in Bahrain, but albeit for 4th place rather than 5th. So we've got 100 points left on the table, and there's 19 points between 1st and 2nd. And Janos Brakshock is only 5 points behind Mark Schluter. So he's well and truly in the hunt. And then it's only 9 points back to Jan Grunquist. So we've got the top 4 guys have all won races, and the top 4 guys are superbly quick drivers. So let's see how they interpret their strategic options for Spa. Hopefully they'll do more than 2/3 of a lap, which is all I managed in the pro race.
I can imagine that for sure. Also, curious thing to notice as well, the last 4 races have seen 4 different race winners. Bradshaw had won back in Bahrain, Grandfist won in Baku, and it was Schluter that won in Montreal, and then it was Zeuuw that after his first 2 race wins find himself back at the top step of the podium in Silverstone. So there will be a time to see if we will see the likes of Munir or company that will join along those 4 drivers as a race winner, and that could be 5 different race winners in five times, or could we see Schluter Luca, Brashok, and Grankvist, who have all won just once, could see themselves as repeat race winners, especially for Schlüter and Brashok, who are just so slightly close to Laho as he still sits with 120 points. It could swift the momentum through to their favour, especially during the closing stages of the championship. So again, a lot all to play for here, and with those 12 cars, as we've said, it's going to be a little bit quiet, but albeit still all the more important in the championship fight. So we will get moving on to qualifying, I think, very shortly as we start through our 10 minutes. I'm very, very excited for this, you two. I'm so ecstatic for this.
Yeah, the drivers are just about ready to go out, and we're about to let them go out for qualifying. One final note for the viewers. I know we have a lot of regular viewers, but for people that are new, we're using live real-world weather direct from Francorchamps. But I don't think we're going to have any chance of rain this afternoon. And of course, we are running rFactor 2 as our sim, simply because there is no better, no more high-fidelity method for a domestic consumer to experience sim racing. This is as close as you can get with a home PC, even a great one, to what the Formula One teams run on their simulator, and we share the same core game engine as all the F1 teams do in their simulator. So that's why we love rFactor 2.
Yeah, big thanks to the mod team as well for producing for the FSR 2026 car. Very, very closely resembles that of the F1 cars. Say as close to real life as possible. It's sort of showcasing the real life climate as well. With the heat that we're having, it's about, it's very much heat wave inducing weather. 31 degrees, I believe, was the trackside temperature. So this could play, as you've said, David, and you've mentioned it before in Pro, very heavily into not only in qualifying, but also in terms of race strategy, because that's going to allow the softs to degrade even quicker, and we could see people maybe in fact choosing the hards more so than that of the softs or mediums. But here we go, qualifying is to get underway, and we're going to slowly start to see the first lap times onto the board. As you can see that the track 48.5 degrees, that is scorching hot.
Yeah, the temperature will drop slightly over the next hour and a half. We expect to drop even 4 to 5 degrees as it's late afternoon in Francorchamps in real life. Little bit of trivia: total pit lane transit is 19 seconds. So you haven't got to win back a whole lot of pace with a clever tyre strategy to pay back 19 seconds over 44 laps. Certainly in the pro race, it looked like 2 mediums and a soft would do the job, or a medium and a hard. My gut feeling is that the World Championship guys will probably 2-stop to get optimum pace, but let's see what they do.
Yeah, a lot of cars, a lot of people we've seen holding onto the pole sitting. What do you think about this, Ross, from your perspective as well? I think I'll let you have your input in as well.
Thank you very much, Amir. Yes, I am here. Don't forget about me. I'm joking. But
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's all okay. I've been drafted in last minute, so I understand. But no, I'll mirror what David said. But I think I'll also agree. Partially, I think it could be a very interesting race because you talked about not, of course, just within the game. It's going to cause a bit of havoc for the tyres, but again, we're getting a kind of second hit of this Europe-wide heat wave. So for a lot of the drivers, it's going to be really, really tough for them in their sim rig. It's going to be very hot, very sweaty. Again, you just sat there in a sim rig. There's no wind. There's nothing. You might have a fan on you if you're so lucky, and of course, doors and windows open to that. But it's going to be a really physical race just because of the temperature. So I think especially towards the latter half of our 44 laps, there will be the odd mistake that starts to slide in just because people start to struggle a little bit with fatigue, sweat dripping down into their eyes, things like that. So that's something we do need to keep our minds on going forward, is this heat. How are drivers, if they are experiencing it, we don't know who's got aircon, we don't know if it's quite cool wherever drivers may be based, but if it is warm, I'm presuming it is because it's very warm where I am right now, how are they going to be able to deal with it? And Spa, again, we don't need to go on much about this circuit. It is one of the greatest circuits in the world, both in terms of its history and, of course, in terms of the layout of the place as well. We are currently on board, of course, with our championship leader, Alex Laho, as he makes his way through Lacombe. So, in case you weren't familiar with this place, you can see already what a racetrack it is. but it is a very physical circuit for the drivers. You use a lot of tyre, there's a lot of high-speed corners as well, that the force feedback is going to be running through your arms. And again, in this heat, what can you do? In terms of what we're expecting from the driver picture side of things, Loic Meunier, I feel like he'll be hungry. He runs typically quite well here at Spa. He's got a lot of strong results here across his career in sim racing. Again, yet to take a victory this season in the FSR World Championship as well. So you think that hunger will be there for the Frenchman, but of course Alex Laho, he's running really, really strong this year. Mark Schluter, he'll feel like he'll have a point to prove to try and get back on top, to try and go back-to-back in titles as well as we get into the latter phases of the season. But as well, you can't count out Jan Grankvist, you can't count out Braxton. And there's some good drivers in there as well. Lucas Murno, Nando Marsa. Again, really strong names out here who maybe haven't had the season that they would have been expecting to have. And if you're going to want to take a first victory anywhere or have a really strong performance to kickstart a late championship charge, it is here at Spa. So I'm really interested to see what's going to happen over those 44 laps. Early doors here in qualifying, Amir. 6 minutes to go. It is Schluter who has pole position by 11 thousandths of a second. And a bit of a gap back from Laho to Grankvist in P3. But Munier's on a lap. Brillac has just gone purple in Sector 1. Let's see what the Sector 2 split. It is green, but it's a good green, to be fair. So he could also be in contention in this one as well. Even though there's only 12 drivers out there, guys. Some very, very strong names. I'm expecting this to be...
Honestly, the other impressive thing, I think, and we might be able to see this during qualifying and the race, which I think David could bring more into, is Brillac couldn't quite set that sector, but Meunier will do so, as he will set his first representative lap time, and that'll be good enough for 4th at the minute, 5 tenths off from Schluter. But everyone is going to go for their second runs again. But David, you can elaborate a little bit more on this as well. People are going to use different setups. They're going to, because Spa is such a balanced circuit, people are going to determine whether if they wanted straight line speed or cornering more. And we're going to be able to see this a little bit in the sectors. But this is also going to heavily impact not only their race pace, but also how they attack others whenever in the race as well.
Yeah, there was a fascinating overlay one of the admins did a few years ago here at Spa using Replay Office, and he set up an overlay of the fastest lap from each car from the race, and it was so apparent whose cars were set up for Sector 2 and whose cars were set up for Sector 3 and Sector 1, because there's only 2 corners between the beginning of Sector 3 and the end of Sector 1. You've got the bus stop where Schluter's coming into now. You've got turn 1 La Source, and that's it. That's the only cornering you've got to do in those whole 2 sectors. So it is an absolute drag strip, but you've got to be reasonably quick in Sector 2, or those guys are going to pull away from you, or sit on your rear bumper because they're so quick through Sector 2, and just get a DRS drag from you all the way up the Camel Straight. So it doesn't matter if they've got a bit more wing than you, if they can turn the wing off, because they're all over your gearbox, having been so quick in Sector 2. So it's a bit of a chess match, and the tyre strategy will link to that aero strategy, really. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what the guys do.
We're approaching through to the 9 minutes of qualifying. We did see, I think, a purple sector from one of the drivers, but I don't think it's amounted to everything. I think it was Brashok's first sector time that has just been beaten by Mark Schluter's on his run, but we'll see what Brashok could do. He's one of the few drivers left to set a lap time, along with a couple of others. What can Brashok put onto the table for his Optimalic car? Will be good enough for 4th. That just places Loic Meunier out of the top 4 for the time being. Lando Marsa is approaching to the final sector as we speak, but meanwhile Mark Schluter is seemed to be a bit on a storm, but he's got a bit of track extending, and that has invalidated for the ground effect for the time being, so he's not at all out of danger just yet, as Nando Marsa, who set a lap time, is enough for 10th, but now we're looking for Tucson, Ross.
We are indeed. Let's see what he's got in his locker. 2 green sectors, so it's personal bests anyway. Won't be looking to likely go to provisional pole, but we'll see if he's able to certainly start up the grid. 2.2 realistically off was his first attempt as he comes to the line. Will get one more in as well if he chooses to go, but loses the rear on the throttle out of the bus stop, crosses the line. And what is it going to be for Tucson? It has lost him a lot of time in that final sector, 1.5 away, an improvement, but stays where he was. Grankvist purple in sector number 2. What's it going to be for the Finnish driver? And goes 1,000th quicker than his teammate, than the championship leader. Jan Grankvist has stuck it onto the front row and will have time to go again as well. Schluter, I'm not sure if he will. He's coming down to the bottom end of the circuit now, so it's going to be tight for the German. With Grankvist and Laho will have another lap. Top 3 covered by 11 thousandths of a second.
So close, and again we could just see how that Grankvist was eyeing on one sector, how it paid off huge dividends. And with 2 minutes left to go, they'll be able to have enough time to go for another run, but they really need to make this count. Peter Briliak, who has been a former FSR Championship winner in the Academy Series, will go through, sorry, not V1, he will go through to the line, and it'll be enough to put the MV Conquest into 6th. And that is the last of the person who has not set a lap time. So now we're approaching for crunch time with 90 seconds left to go. Is the positions going to cement themselves, or are we going to see position changes here, guys?
I've got to
It's really tight out there. Sorry, David, carry on.
Got to make a very small correction. Peter Burlak has the full set. He was the Division 3 champion when it was called Pro. He was the Division 2 champion, and then 2 years later he won the World Championship. So Peter Burlak has the full set of trophies from the Formula SimRacing World Championship. So he is one of the legends of the sport, actually. So not surprised to see him in 6th. He was away last round, and I think the round before that he was quite unwell. So I'm looking forward to see what a fit and ready Peter Burlak can do this afternoon.
We'll wait to see. 30 seconds left in this qualifying session though, David. We do have a purple sector 1 from Braxock, so he could be on a lap, and there's a few others that are making their way around as well. That was very wide at a no-name, or Speaker's Corner as it's sometimes called. I think it is unofficially Jackie X Corner now as well, so take your pick on those ones through the left-hander from Braxock, but he's good in sector number 1 at least. He's got 3.5 tenths to make up. Green in sector 1 from Mark Schluter as the checkered flag comes out now. This is the final ditch attempts. Has anybody got anything left in their locker? It's green in sector 2 from Braxock.
Checkered flag has been dropped. Elekes is the first one to have finished his qualifying. That will remain himself up into 10th for 7 hours, but we're still keeping an eye on Braxock. Schluter is still going through to his final lap now. He's gone green, so it could be a chance to extend it up even further. Murno has got himself up into 5th, but what can Braxock deliver to the table? Is it going to be a strong enough final sector to be in contention for pole position? It will not. It will only be enough for 4th.
Wow, really tight there. Solid up from Braxock, but still not enough. Just under 2 tenths away. Schluter has gone green. And despite the fact he's on provisional pole, looks like he doesn't have any purple sectors at the moment as he comes through Blanchimont and into the bus stop. This final tricky section to go. We'll get hard on the brakes, keep it over to the right-hand side. Try not to lose the rear over that crest. Then just plant your foot and hope the rears don't spin underneath you. Is it going to be an improvement for the reigning world champion? It will be. He goes just over half a tenth quicker than Grankvist, who doesn't look to be in a lap. Laho's gone purple sector 2.
Ooh. So close. We see Laho, yeah, purple sector 2. So he's just got the final corner left to go, and it could be enough to defeat Mark Schluter out, but it depends how costly the first sector was, because it wasn't an improvement at all from Alex, but a very strong final sector could be enough to put the Frenchman back into the top 7 of the pole position. Yes, it is! By 4 thousandths!
Wow, how close do you want it to be, Alex Laho, the championship leader? Potentially with a state mark pole position, a 1-2 for the team as well, as he gets the better of Jan Grankvist. But Alex Laho, he's got just under a race wins advantage in the championship table coming into this round. And he's saying, you know what, if you want it, come and get me. What a qualifying session. Millimeters we're talking there, but a 1-2 for the squad. And well ahead of Mark Schluter in sim racing terms as well. A 10th and a quarter clear of the reigning world champion. Talk about last grasp, last chance saloon even for the 42 driver, but it is Alex Laho from Jan Grankvist who lock out the front row. What a lap that was from the Frenchman to go onto pole position.
Yeah, Absolutely fantastic. We'll look over through to the running order through today's race. It is Alex Laho, Jan Grankvist. They both set the final time exactly the same, and it was Laho that beat Grankvist again. Look at that margin of a gap, 4,000. It's the statement of all statements Alex needs to hold on to his championship lead up against a charging Mark Schluter, who will only be able to start in P3 with having to worry about the MV Conquest up ahead. In fact, he's kind of caught up with the MV Conquest sandwich. Loic Munier in the sister team in 4th, with Janusz Brex for Otemali in 5th. Follows through with his teammate Lucas Murno in 6th. Peter Briliak is in 7th, with Nandor Marsa holds on through to 8th, with Zolt Schütz in split between the GE my bad. In 9th, Matthew Toussaint completes over through to the top 10. We've only got 2 cars left on the grid, and that would be Anime Sweezy and Sabia Lekes completes through our 12-car grid. Fantastic qualifying, and I must say it was a fantastic lead battle that we've seen throughout the second half of qualifying. Could be a sign of things us to expect for the race, I must say.
Yes, very interesting qualifying session there, to say the least. How tight? Well, I mean, obviously interesting, good things as well, but even though we've only got the 12 cars out there, how tight do you want it at the top? We've got 44 laps here at Spa, a full Grand Prix distance around what is typically considered to be the longest Grand Prix circuit in the world. And boy, we have got a treat in store for us here tonight. The 10 minutes of qualifying done and dusted. We are moments away. It's a front row lockout once again as well. But again, there's so much at stake here. There's championship stakes. There's wanting to get your first win under your belt stakes as well. Alex Laho continuing his strong form with an amazing last-ditch effort in qualifying ahead of his teammate in Jan Grankvist, a man who, he'll hate me saying it, but I often consider to be pound for pound the best sim racer in the world. He is so good, the Finnish driver. Of course, Mark Schluter can never count him out. Loic Munier from P4, always very good here at Spa. Fantastic driver himself, and someone who's typically quite strong away from the lights and into the first couple of corners as well. So keep your eye out for him. He will have to go the long way around at last source, of course, but could be an interesting one for him as we get our warm-up session underway. It won't be too long, this one, but up at the top, Braxok not far away. Lucas Murno there as well, the Brazilian. So we've got, again, the figures you'd expect to be up the top are up the top, but they're very, very tight together. And again, all very, very strong drivers. Strategy's going to come into it, of course, at some point. What tyres a driver's going to start on? What do they do here? Spa, you can get away with a one-stop if you're really good on your tyres. It's typically a two-stopper race, but you can go multiple directions on that two-stop as well. Maybe that's a question for David to run us through the strategy things. Again, what are we looking at here, David? Especially maybe if you're starting on the second or third row, looking to try and get an undercut on an overcut on strategy here. What would your plan be?
Well, I tell you what, I just took a sneaky look at, and that was I'm looking at the live timing, and I'm looking at the tyres people are on, because the tyres they go out with on warm-up, and for the viewers, on warm-up they get a chance to go out there with 120 litres of fuel and do a few laps to remember their braking points, etc., compared to the quali lap where they've got low fuel, soft tyres, the engine turned up to its most aggressive qualifying map. So to bring things back down to earth, they go out for a warm-up. Now, at the moment, Laho is on hard tyres, Grankvist on medium, Schluter medium, Munier soft, Braxok medium, Murno hard. So there's an absolute smorgasbord of different tyre strategies, unless they're bluffing by just choosing an odd tyre to do the warm-up with. So I think we're going to see a bit of everything. But I will be very surprised if there's a one-stop, because it's a 19-second pit lane transit. Divide that into 44 laps, and you've only got to be 0.4 of a second quicker by being more aggressive or being on a softer set of tyres than by going long and trying to one-stop. So certainly, I think some people got away with it in the pro distance, 38 laps. Those extra 6 laps makes a big difference. So my money is on a two-stop being the most successful strategy. And some of these guys are probably good enough to do 2 mediums and a soft. Some might want to involve a hard tyre. So have I hedged my bets enough there? But no, I'm going to say a two-stop strategy with probably most of them utilising mediums and softs.
The thing I'm very curious about, David, is this is my intrusive thought kind of coming into play. We are racing at about 8 British summertime, and we are slowly going to come down to see the sun starting to set as well. So the temperatures could get lower ambient, so we're going at 31 degrees at the moment, so it could drop down just a little bit slightly to maybe 28 or 27. So I'm wondering if, because the impact of it has, we know it's going to be super warm now from when they start, but is there a possibility that we might see the air getting cooler, that the drivers will have to maybe re-strategize from compared to just racing in the midday?
Yeah, interesting point. Certainly, the softer tyres get knocked around a bit more when the track is hotter, and at the moment the track is 48. The other thing they're going to gamble on a bit is engine cooling, because if the cooling ducts are fully closed, this car is really on its limit here at this ambient temperature, and we will see cars in pit lane potentially smoking. So cooling is another gamble, and usually at Spa, average speeds are high, so cooling doesn't have to be fantastic, but the temperatures peak in the pits, and if you're in heavy traffic and then perhaps going for an undercut and you've really pushed hard, the engine can start to smoke, and if it starts to smoke, it doesn't have much life left. But I think the drivers are now ready to form the grid, so we're going to send them out, and we'll start to see them spawning on the grid now, ready for the formation lap.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be mediums as the tyres of choice from the get-go here at Spa. And interesting what you were saying about the temperatures and the tyres, David. Of course, we need to keep in mind the operating windows of each of the compounds. And again, with the heat, track temperature 48.7. That is really, really hot for here at Spa. It's, again, I know I mentioned you can do a one-stop here if you're careful on the tyres. With temps like that, it is just not going to be possible, I don't think, even on a hard to medium or medium to hard run of things. Maybe I'll get proven wrong. I normally do these things. There's a reason I'm in the commentary box and not on the pit wall or out there driving. But yeah, it's abnormally hot for Spa. And that's going to be interesting to see, because it's going to throw a lot of tyres out of whack. You're going to have to pump more pressure into the tyres to keep the surface slow. But that, again, is going to raise the carcass temperature of the tyre. So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, especially if you're looking to go soft at some point. We are now underway in our full, mate.
You're looking down through to the running order of the race very soon, so a complete overthrow. I'll do the starter. So Alex Laho holds on through to a OMV 1-2 with Grangfest alongside, again, 4,000's the difference. Schluter, Laho's closest championship rival, is third with Janusz Brakschuk into fifth with Otemale follows through with Lucas Meritz and Otemale. Row 3, Peter Briliak for MV Conquest is in 7th. Nando Morso joins alongside him into 8th. Completing our through to our starting grid, it's Zeuuw shoots for Optimal hosting in 9th with Matthew Toussaint in 10th, Simon Sweezy and Sabielekis for the 7 hours, 11th and 12th for them respectively, an all orange row. Yeah, that was a great qualifying, as we said before, but getting down to the race very, very shortly. And also the other thing that I also kind of want to bring up as well, the temperatures also means that the drivers cannot really fight as willing as they can in other circuits that they can, because of such the high temperatures. So I think we're going to see a lot of drivers, correct me if I'm wrong, David, but try to undercut, not just to beat others on track, but also just for the sake of keeping their engines cool. And we might see that for Grangfish, Schluter and Munir behind, especially with Laho leading.
Yeah, well, that's a very good call, because by diving in for the undercut, you do exactly that. Hopefully, if you miss the traffic, you put yourself in clear air and give you the chance to run at your absolute optimum and cool the car down, as well as getting a bit of an advantage on the other car who hasn't pitted. Also, for the viewers to be aware, the cars have a limited amount of push to pass available. It's about 90 or 100 seconds of push to pass available for the whole race. So what they will normally do when they get within DRS, which is a 0.7 second gap in FSR, they can deploy DRS, they can push that push to pass button, and suddenly you've got 80 horsepower more and a whole lot less drag, and it usually means for a pretty simple pass down at the end of the Camel Straight into Lacombe. I'll stop talking now because these boys are about to form up on the grid.
Ross, it's all yours.
Really? Are you sure, Amir Oates? Wow. Come on, that's I mean, sure, if you want. I don't mind.
What do you mean? I thought you were the lead.
I thought you were the lead. All right, well, we're, again, very professional here in the FSR World Championship commentary box. And I'll do it now because we are getting into the grid anyway. But Laho and Grankvist on the front row. Susi, Leckers make their way into row number 6, and it is all eyes to those 5 red light mediums for everyone outside of Briac and Tucson. So they're looking to go longer in their first stint with that pair. But now we wait. The red lights are now on. 44 laps. The Spa-Francorchamps circuit are awaiting. It is lights out and we're underway. Good launch initially there from Alex Laho. Not a great start from Jan Grankvist though. He's going to invite Schluter up the inside, who pokes the nose the last horse, but Grankvist firm on the outside. The Finnish driver will hold position as we're all clean out of turn number 1 on the run into that's Eau Rouge and then Radion. Try not to get them mixed up or face the wrath of like that WTF1 clip from a couple of years ago. All clean through there though. Now this is where it gets interesting. On to the Camel Straight for the first time. Try and get this the toe. Try and get yourself into that slipstream. Anyone fancy it? Mounier looks here. Schluter looking as well, but decides against it. Laho, Grankvist, Schluter, Mounier, and Brascock is your top 5, all holding the status quo for the time being. Now down into Bruxelles. Very awkward corner, but Ollie doors on this opening lap all stay clean. Someone a bit deep there in the background there, Amir. It was a good start from Mark Schluter. Wasn't able to do anything against it. Grankvist was firm on the outside. Up the front, though, it should be Alex Laho looking to bolt away and then manage the race from the front.
Yep, Laho, great start. I think Schluter did all he possibly can to. He knew that he had his best opportunity against Grankvist at that moment, but right down for the outside that Grankvist has done, and very good throttle control. I think your claim that he's the pound-for-pound best sim racer is really proven. Having to defend from Schluter and fend it off is just, you know, fantastic there from the Finnish World Tour. I did see Sweezy, the 7 hours, briefly suffer from some sort of engine smoke, but he's, after moving a bit out from that line, he's something now. But here we go. Oh my word, Murno and Brillac both banging wheels, and it almost ended ugly, but still they continue on through to the final few corners. So close, but Murno late on the brakes, but it's not going to be close enough. It is actually through to the final corner. It was Murno that gains a position. He puts himself up into 7th. A great battle between those two. It almost ended horribly, but my goodness me, that was so close.
Lovely move there by the Brazilian driver. It feels wrong to call him an up-and-coming sim racer given how prominent he is in the international community already, but he's a driver that has more stacks of potential than he does current ability, but will still show moments of brilliance like that. Murno moves up and will set his sights forward. Lap number 2 though, pulling to the inside, a few drivers trying to break that toe down the long Camel Straight up at the front. We are still as we were. Grankvist trying to shake off Mark Schluter and see if he can set his sights on his teammate, the Finnish driver. He's so smooth on tyres, and he's so careful as well. That's the big thing. He doesn't obviously set up the move. He just keeps it in the wheel tracks and then suddenly bang, he's alongside you and he's through you. So Laho will be wary of this. He'll be keeping one eye firmly on the mirrors. That's of course not to detract away from how good our championship leader is as well. But this is very much turning into a Laho versus Grankvist affair. As I say that though, Laho in the middle sector has pulled 8/10 clear. Again, trying to bolt away, manage the race from the front, break out of the DRS range, so to speak. Schluter, Mounier, Brascock behind, all watching, waiting patiently. But we'll be going on to lap number 3 in a couple of moments' time. No one really close enough to make a move down into the bottom as it currently stands, unless the reigning world champion fancies a go on Jan Grankvist. He'll have to go the long way round, then he'll try and duck back into the inside, but just not quite close enough on that occasion. Schluter looking racy here early doors.
Zoltan Zeuuw made a very aggressive start, fairly clean, but I think he jumped 2 to 3 other competitors off the line and made it 3 wide. He was sandwiched in the middle of 2 other cars going around the source on lap 1. Kept it clean, and he is pushing very hard. The Janos Brackshot has pulled a little bit of a gap on him now, but Zoltan is a guy that's pretty well known for pushing it to the limit, although Lucas Murno's got him now with DRS. But Zoltan is never one to go at 90%. He's a 100% commitment driver, so I'll be interested to see how this pans out for him. He's going to want to try and stay in touch with Lucas Murno and be able to use DRS to stay on the back of this train.
Through no name, we follow Lucas Murno for the meantime, and pushing his way through. And again, corner that has multiple different names: Jackie X corner, Speakers corner in the world of motorsport, but sim racing, that one's kind of stuck for the time being. Lap 3 of 44 here at Spa in the Formula Sim Racing World Championship. It's still early doors. We may be starting to see a period of settling down. At early doors, of course, you expect people to be jostling for position. Even though it's only lap 3, still early doors in the grand scheme of things. People clearly not quite close enough to make moves. So maybe we're starting to enter a bit of a race where it's just sit there and be patient. Just follow the driver in front. If they make a mistake, great, you get a free position. But maybe we're already starting to see a strategy race brewing. We're just getting drivers happy to sit in this train. Don't have to do anything, just hit their marks for the opening stint and then wait to see what other people do when other people are diving into the pits, and then you can start to get the elbows out, push for a lap, see if you can overcut and or undercut them through the pit lane as well. It is a long old pit lane here at Spa. Of course, you don't use the second bit that you see in endurance racing, so not as long as it theoretically could be, but the pit lane starts quite early on and then of course does run all the way round to the exit of that sort of so you can turn off pit lane limiter by that point. We go on forward with Mark Schluter again, too far back for the move down into lane Dom on Grankvist, who's closed right back up to Alex Lahose. So Lahose's early attempts to break away, try and break DRS and manage the race from the front have failed. But again, no one seemingly willing to make moves just yet. It's a game of chess here at Spa.
Well, Zoltan Sux has fallen prey to a driver we discussed earlier. Peter Burlak has overtaken Zoltan Sux at the end of Kemmel Straight and made a clean pass before Lacombe. The interesting part of that is Peter Burlak is on hard tyres. He and Tucson are the only two running hards. So the fact that Burlak is now running competitively and hoping, like, looks to me like he's going to get onto the back of this train and he's on the hard tyre, that kind of smells like a good strategy to me. If you're there with these other guys, they're on the softer compound, and you're matching it with them, that is a really good feeling in the cockpit.
That's a very good point, and this could be a very, very good advantage to Peter, who's slowly kind of catching up to that of Murno and Brashok, who's just about 1.6 seconds away. And again, all the advantage of the clean air that he has, just slightly ahead of him. Again, push the advantage all more to really to catch up through to the tail end of this group here. Still at 5 out of 44, and everyone seems to be, as you said, Ross, a long, long game of chess that we're going to be witness here. Even when people are close, I don't think they're ever going to risk a move heading out through to the Kemmel stretch, because if you go side by side, it's just so detrimental onto the tires and very costly. You want it to be easy and done as you like, as Brashok breathing at the end of Munier could look for a move, but not quite close enough. He knows he's not close enough to even attempt to make it. Still stays behind at the moment, and that's just the Kemmel stretch through to that area, and then that's the real prime overtaking opportunity we have throughout the entirety of Spa without any risk whatsoever. So again, everyone's just holding on to the single file line. Luckily, no retirements of any sorts so early on. That's always been a good sign, but yeah, it's still looking pretty good from all here.
Peter Burlak
Keeping it nice and steady. Sorry, Dave.
No, you go ahead, please. Yeah.
I was just going to say keeping it nice and steady and nothing to worry about early doors. So I had, quite frankly, nothing to add to the situation. I thought
cool.
The analyst was probably going to have something more insightful.
Yeah, just looking here at the Peter Burlak versus Zoltan Suk situation, and Peter Burlak is dropping him pretty convincingly. It's about 1.6 coming up to 1.7 seconds, and remembering he only passed him a lap and a half ago. So Peter Burlak is dropping Zoltan Suk. Hopefully Zoltan just maintains driving at 100% intensity, because we have seen him go to 101% a few times and it ends in tears. He's not a driver who's kind on tyres or kind on equipment. If his ambitions tell him he wants to gain a spot. But Peter Burlack looking good, 3.9 seconds from the lead, 6 laps in, and on the harder tyre. So that sort of augurs well. The other hard runner is Matt Toussaint, who is not performing quite where Peter Burlack is, but staying in touch with the group, just a second or so behind Saba Alikas, who is standing in for William Snowden. William Snowden has had an equipment failure on his throttle pedal this week, so Saba Alikas has stood in as reserve for the Seven Arrows team. Now I'm going to sound like a broken record. Nandor Marsa has just passed Zoltan Sooks for 8th place. So this is going to start getting a bit boring for Zoltan. So Marsa now through into 8th place.
So it seems to be a bust performing. Here's a question for you, David. I know it's still early doors and we're a long way away from opening round of pit stops, but strategy perspective, everyone seems quite comfortable just to sit and wait to play the strategy game. But
wait, Grankvist has overtaken Laho.
Oh, he has. So we do have a change up at the front, certainly. Jan Grankvist, the Finnish driver, has gone through on the championship leader, so maybe not all comfortable for the time being, but Laho's certainly still within DRS. So let's see what Grankvist does, and if the train continues as we get a replay early doors of the move, should I say. It looks like it's going to be DRS down into Lake Common. Indeed it is. Nice and textbook there. Gets it done well before the braking zone as well. So not exactly the trickiest move, but Laho again not defending. He knows there's no point there. Happy to swap places with his teammate and just continue onwards. Again, don't want to crash into your teammates. The number one sin in racing, of course. But as I was going to say, David, I know it's early doors here strategy-wise. You won't be thinking about pit stops just yet, but he seems to be fairly happy sitting in this train for everyone. And again, top 6 all on the medium compounded tyre as well. So if you're looking to get an advantage here at Spa in the pit lane, what's the plan? Is it more of an undercut circuit or an overcut circuit? If you're on the 2-stopper, what's the compounded tyre you're going to go for? Again, there's only 12 cars, so the idea of traffic getting involved when you come into the pit lane for your first stop certainly isn't going to be a worry. So is it maybe an early stop for maybe a harder compounded tyres to go long potentially?
Well, in my opinion, it's definitely an undercut scenario because the tyres get put on the car already pretty warm. It's not like in real life Formula One where the tyres aren't really hot enough. So the fresh set of tyres starts to work immediately. And what I think is going to happen, it's going to be a case of how early do I dare to put on those fresh, faster tyres and grab that undercut, because if you go too early, next time the pit stops come around, you've lost performance and somebody else is going to be undercutting you and you're going to be on a very sad old set of tyres. So it's very much a case of measuring out how far can I go on that final set of tyres, how far can I go on that middle set of tyres, presuming a 2-stop and presuming 3 stints, and that's really going to be the trick. Who can make a set of tyres last longest in the second and the third stint, getting good performance. Yeah, I think the undercut, if they want to undercut, they're going to be bolting on another set of mediums and then probably running home on hards. But I don't know. These guys are so quick, so much better than me. Somebody might even try for some softs. We saw a guy in the pro race do 13 laps on a set of softs, which just blew my mind. So, yeah, but that's what it's about. How early do we dare jump in the pits and put on some fresh tyres without ruining the back end of the race?
I guess it's all about it's the long game, I think we were expecting. And I think maybe we're not going to quite be seeing people jumping in earlier than we expected. But I think what we will see is that it's going to be a case of waiting for somebody to pull the pin and waiting for somebody to go into the pit lane. And then we're going to see a flurry of activity down there. So we'll wait to see. Grankvist does have a 6/10 advantage ahead of his teammate, but again, not breaking away just yet. Still within DRS range is the championship leader in Alex Laho at the wheel of that 42 ALM MV car. So, and the top 3 within 1 second of each other, and the top 5 within 2 seconds of each other. So the pace is really quick, but the pace is very, very even at the minute. So it's certainly one bold undercut can totally turn this on its head.
And we saw at Silverstone, there was an incredible finale to the race because Mark Schluter had pitted earlier and gotten away with a beautiful big undercut. And then Alex Lahoo left at several laps, maybe 5 laps longer, and came out behind him and inch by inch was gradually getting closer to him. And with 3 or 4 laps to go, there was still only a second and a half between the 2 lead guys after 52 laps to Silverstone. And Schluter would have won it. Schluter had it covered, but unfortunately the car being lapped just did not make it urgent enough to get out of the way. And that just delayed Mark Schluter 0.34 of a second in the final sector, which gave Lahoo DRS, which gave Lahoo the chance with the fresher tyres to get in. So it can be that close. And these top few guys, these top 5 guys within 1.5 seconds of each other, it's a bit of a cliche, but I think any of these top 5 guys are capable of winning this race.
I will say Schluter, I'm interested to see what he can do from third, especially in the pit stops. He's a driver who's, again, very, very solid at Spa, got a lot of good results here across his career. I do remember I did engineering once to a 2nd place in another championship once. It was a bit of a do pit not, but again, I'd always bang on about it because, quite frankly, I made that 2nd pit happen, so thank you very much. You're welcome, Mark Schluter. I think he got taken away due to a post-race penalty anyway, but I'm still holding on to it.
He couldn't have done it without you.
No, he absolutely couldn't have done. But again, it also goes to show that he was in that position to do so. He's always been a driver who's
Casaba Elikas has crashed, unfortunately. Matthew Toussaint pass Casaba Elikas in the standings, and then look back, and Casaba Elikas had a big one. Looked like it was exit of sector 2.
No front wing, so he's gone front first into the wall. Maybe bounced around and lost a rear potentially, Amir.
Yeah, second part of Stephelot went in very hot, lost the rear, and bounced off the back onto the front between Stephelot 2 and Paul Frere, famous Belgian. So,
you're wrong. Unfortunately, I was back first.
Well, I just saw a missing front wing. But just got it wrong down Stephelot. He becomes our first loss to races. We're getting a bit spicy up the front.
Worked just very briefly. I think Mark Schluter has been climbing behind Lahoo. Right, the last couple of laps, we almost saw Schluter make an overtaking attempt to Lahoo. Very, very close. I think it was about 1.5, 2 tenths off from Lahoo out of the camel stretch. But I think he didn't quite have close to make, or maybe he wasn't confident enough to kind of make the moves. So, ALM MV Conquest still leads through Grandfist and Lahoo 1-2, and still in a very, very good position, I think. Probably the best position for any team at the moment, because they can not only can they control the lead amongst them as teammates, but also share the dirty air and clean air amongst themselves, which is, again, what we've talked about, the temperature, incredibly crucial.
Yeah, it's down to 29 degrees now in the server, so it's dropped a couple of degrees since the race started. So Mark Schluter's out there. The other 3 guys in the top 4 are all from the same family, if you like, the same team, umbrella team of MV. You've got ALM MV and you've got MV Conquest, so the same sort of overarching team. But Grandquest and Lahoo, they can cooperate just like in real life to perform strategy, but they can't get cooperation from sister teams. That's strictly outdoors, to be fair. So Mark Schluter, and I think he's going to have a move on Lahoo. Schluter looks like he's going to have DRS on Lahoo. But Lahoo's been given DRS to Grandquest. Talk about team strategy. Yeah.
Good Lord.
Schluter had DRS. I was wondering why he wasn't
inside line as well.
Yeah, I was wondering why he wasn't gaining on Lahoo till I saw Lahoo had DRS as well. So just at the time we're talking about team strategy. But the ace Mark Schluter has in his back pocket is the guy who's working on the setups for them for the Ground Effect SimRacing team is a gentleman called Robin Pansar, and Robert Pansar is the creator of this mod, of this car, and Robin Pansar has created several of the FSR cars. He's a very, very experienced guy at actually building them on. So they've engaged the services of the mod creator to optimize their car setup. So that can never be a bad thing.
Lap 11 of 44 here at Spa in the Formula SimRacing World Championship. We're down to 11 drivers already. If you're just joining us, it's been a very tight contest in the opening stages of this race. You're going to not be getting pit stops soon, but you're starting to think about the medium tyre. Can go a little bit longer, but not horrendously longer. And then again, we're expecting 2 stops. We'll wait to see if anybody is committing to a 1-stop and going on the tyre management strategy. With a 48.7 degree track temperature here in the Ardennes.
Susie pitting. Speaking of pit stops.
Oh, that's early. So Susie comes in. Looks to be a set of hard compound tyres for him. Again, we might wait for that to update just a moment, given it is rFactor 2. She's an old girl, is this simulator of our choice.
It's usually bang on at the tyre change. It's just when the opening lap it seems to keep it secret for a while. It's pretty reliable on the pit stop. But yeah, that's only 11 laps on the mediums from Amir. I think the front
maybe he's trying to go really long and go hard. Maybe see if he can create something. He was down the back of the pack, but the mediums can certainly go longer. So either he was just struggling on that tyre, or that's just a case of we're going to try and make something happen.
Yeah, Amir was not getting a lot of great tyre life from the medium on the 7 Arrows practice server. He was complaining about tyre degradation on the medium with these really high track temperatures. So I think his plan was to spend more time on the hard. The front running guys, I reckon we'll see pit stops within 2 laps. That's just my gut feeling, because I think after 14 laps, the amount of degradation kicking in, they're going to be so much quicker on a fresh set of tyres, going to be 2 seconds quicker. So the trio of guys all just lapping together. Well, let's say there's 4 of them really, including Loic Meunier.
Munier's pitted.
Oh, really? Wow. That's early from the Brazilian. I was not expecting that at all from one of them. He was on the back end of the front runners, but was still there or thereabouts. Looks to be a set of mediums for the Brazilian. I was going to say, Susie, his top speed trap, according to our live timing on RaceView, is about 8Ks down on anybody else's. So maybe he's running a bit more downforce, which in turn will use a bit more tyre. So maybe he is just struggling on the tyres compared to everyone else, trying to prioritise his speed through sector number 2. Spa's a circuit, very much of sector 1 and sector 3. Yes, high-speed corners, but it's a lot of straights as well, and you can just rely on downforce, even on lower settings. Sector 2, very tight and twisty in comparison. You need to rely on a higher downforce setup, so you set your car basically up for sector 1 and 3 or sector 2. There's not really a compromise that you can make. And maybe Susie setting up for sector 2. Murno has come out just behind Tucson, so that's going to be interesting. He has come out in a little bit of traffic here. Needs to clear that quickly if he wants to get through, get on with it. But that could be a very early undercut. If he does get through Tucson quickly enough, he could get a couple of positions here. But again, we're waiting to see how much further these mediums can go in the World Champ race and who's going to come in next.
Yeah, it's extremely urgent for Murno to clear Tucson, because Murno's effectively gone for an undercut because he's put on another set of mediums. So he wants to be very quick right now. He's urgently got to clear Tucson. If you recall, Tucson is on the hard, so he can just keep going. So Murno needs to drive around him very quickly. It was pretty committed move there to the inside on the marbles, but he's got it done.
Just see there with Meunier, he's one of the first on this lead pack to not have the DRS to Schluter anymore, so he's kind of hung dry and have to worry about Brashot coming from behind, who will have the DRS from behind through to the Camel stretch, and it'll be the easiest overtake that Jonas can ever make on Loic Meunier as Yatamale gets himself up in the 4th place with a very, very clean overtake. as we've already seen the pit strategies come ahead. So we might see ahead if Grankfest, Lahoe, Schluter or Brashok or Munier will make the time to pits. I did see Munier, I think, struggling a little bit in the second and third sectors. I think that might be the showcase of the tire degrading quite significantly, as it's trying hard to kind of keep it aiming straight. So we might see him maybe be the first to pit.
You're just crossing back to Murno again. He's now got plenty. He's got at least 3 seconds of clear air in front of him as he enters sector 2, and the total pit lane transit here at Spa is 19 seconds. Have a guess how far Murno is back from the leader at the moment. 18.7 and falling. So Murno's bold undercut will put him in the net lead when Granquist pits. In my estimation, we'll find out shortly, and I don't think these leaders can allow this to happen for much longer, because they know Murno is quick. He doesn't have many podiums or wins to his name, but he's had a bit of bad luck this season so far. He's been a bit of a punching bag. There's been a lot of contact involving Murno, which wasn't his fault, but he has pace. He's now 17.7 seconds ahead, so when the leaders pit, Murno will be in the lead. So let's see how quickly they respond.
Of course, got to remember though that he will then be at a tyre disadvantage when the leaders come in as well. So it depends how big his lead is, and then how he's able to manage this set of mediums for this second stint. Murno is, I've always held in very, very high regard as a driver. He's a driver that's won basically everything there is to win within the Brazilian sim racing sphere, stepping up into the international, the world level. It's not been the smoothest of transitions for him. He's had some really, really solid performances in a number of different series and taken a lot of race wins as well, and proven that he can compete with the very best, certainly in rFactor 2. But again, when you get somebody coming in to the world sphere, which, let's be honest, the world sphere in sim racing is primarily dominated, in rFactor 2 terms anyway, by European drivers, you can find it, you get yourself very easily bullied about a little bit. It's kind of this outsider coming in trying to make a name for themselves, even if they are, in the Brazilian sphere anyway, a very, very successful individual. But you're right, I agree, David. He's had a lot of bad luck, certainly, and I also feel that he's found himself bullied about a little bit as this outsider who's trying to work his way in, but he is a driver that is very, very quick. And again, I did mention he's maybe a star of the future. I think he's a star today as well. It's just a matter of time before, on a world stage, he really explodes out of the gates and shows everyone what he can do at the wheel of a virtual racing. And essentially today is that day. If he's going aggressive on the strategy and it makes it work, what a story it would be for Lucas Murno. As we see battles going on here between Loic Mounier trying to get past Joel Schukes to the inside. At the bus stop goes Mounier. Little bit of wheel to wheel between the pair of them. Mounier clearly not happy with the defensive effort of Schukes, and he will shove him out wide. But on that fresh hard compound tyre, will get it done and get it confirmed. So the Frenchman moves on up into 7th place. So he's got about a 2 second realistic detriment to what is now, as you estimate, David, our net race leader. Again, don't count Loic Mounier out either. A very, very quick driver in his own regard. So maybe the early stop is the way to go, but we're still waiting for the likes of Grankfist, Lahoe, Schluter, Brascott to come in. We'll wait to see what's going to unfold.
Murno got DRS on Camel Straight. It must have been from his battle with Mounier. He still had DRS, and Mounier was back in his rearview mirrors. So that would have been a nice feeling. DRS and clear track in front of you. You were talking about the tyre deg difference, because I think we're now lap 3 since Murno put on the medium tyres. What that's most likely going to mean is his final stint will need to be a hard stint, medium hard, whereas the guys who are just eking a few more laps out of their first set might be even able to go medium soft, and so that will be an interesting contrast in the final stint.
We could be looking at potentially a medium hard as well, David. Lap 16, again, the tyres are going to be starting to fall off the proverbial cliff fairly soon. But if you can get 20-21 laps out of the medium compounded tyre, with the car getting lighter as the fuel load goes down across the course race, there's no reason to say why you shouldn't be able to get a second hard stint with a couple of laps extra on it to the end of the race, which
Yeah.
would be surprising to me given the track temperature. But if you're able to do it, theoretically it is quicker.
Yep. As long as you're not losing more than half a second a lap. So, yeah, that will be very intriguing. So Murno now 15 seconds behind. But, of course, he is committed to a two-stop because he's only used medium so far. So that is one thing he has to stop again. But the other guys in front of him could theoretically... Zoltan Sooks is just exiting the pit lane, by the way, with a fresh set of hard boots in 10th position.
So lap 17 of 44 here at Spa. We're not horrendously far away from the half distance in this Grand Prix. We'll wait to see what the front runners are going to do. We've had a couple of early stoppers who are committing to a two-stop, but we're now starting to potentially, the likes of Grant Hochschlu to Braxop could be looking to go one stop, medium hard, all the way to the end of the race. Again, on paper is faster, but given the high track temps, we're unsure what is going to be the best way to do it. Spa is a track that most of the time is a two-stopper race, but again, maybe just the FSR compounds that we've got here with us this weekend, maybe things are different. We'll wait and see. Grantford does lead ahead of Laho, and we're still stuck in this train. There was a change that happened around about 10 or so laps ago. Into the pit lane. There does come Braxok, so that is the first now of our leaders outside of the early stoppers who's coming in. And Amir, let's see what is going on to you. You'd expect it to be, set of the hards, okay. So could go to the end potentially, Amir, with a bit of management. I think though on lap 18 of 44, that is then push these hards and then a soft stint to the end.
Yep, I think so too. But it's the first time ever we've seen a representative, or what we assume would have been a medium stint would look like. But look how much time that he's lost though. He rejoins in 7th behind his teammate and Munier, and with about a 2 gap, about a second away from Munier and about 3-4 seconds away from Murno. Just remember, they were just beside each other at the start of the race. So again, the undercut very massively for Munier, even though he only started on the hards. You would have imagined that he would have started on the mediums, so he would move on to a set of hards, but no, he's kind of gone for the inverse and has made the hards last less. But the question is, if your assumption about the downforce is right, which is causing him very high tire degradation, is he actually like thinking of the same strategy as we all, or is there going to be another added stop for Murno because he's pushing it so hard?
Yes, we'll wait to see what's going to unfold here, but we're certainly getting a tantalising strategy battle here at Spa, and it's anybody's guess what is going to unfold. Track temp dropping ever so slightly now, down to 49 degrees. That's not going to have much of an effect. It's still probably quite slippy out there, given the high track temps. Of course, temperature is one of those awkward things where you don't want it to be too cold, you don't want it to be too hot. It's much like tyres, you need a correct operating window. Into the pit lane comes the race leader. Jan Grankvist has made the call on lap now 19 of 44 as they cross the line. What tyres is it going to be for the Finnish driver? Overshoots his pit box massively, not too much of a big deal given that there's no actual pit crew there. Hard tyres for Grankvist. Can he make those last, or is that again similar story, David? Maybe a short stop stint to the end. Here comes Mark Sluter on the run out of Radion. He'll get the race lead into Lakon.
Now this is where it gets interesting, huh?
Really does. Close.
The old firm of Schluter and Lehoux.
2 championship leaders as well, don't forget to keep in mind, yet only 90 points behind them, but Grankvist on his way course to try and make his way past through Brashok, but Brashok going to deny him, heading into the first sector. So Grankvist again off on the back foot now, so Murno is indeed the provisional leader, 3 seconds away and very well clear in front, but time will tell if strategy and luck will favour his side. Schutter, Lehoux and Peter, all the ones that have yet to make their pit stops, the more that they prolong it, the worse the effect they will have upon rejoining, because Grankvist, keep in mind, was the race leader at one point. Now he's down at 7, so if these 3 come to pit, he's looking at currently 5th or 4th at the moment.
This is taking a turn. Oh, big wobble onto the curbs. A little bit too wide on the run out of campus and into Stavolo. Will get away with it though, Will Grangvist. But again, he's clearly going for... Oh yes, into the pits then comes Mark Schluter. So yes, this is the point now. Laho. Yeah, Laho does stay out. How long does he stay out for again? Briac, hard compound tyres for him, so he can go much further than Laho. Hard compound for Schluter.
He's catching up as well.
He is catching up as well, so clearly the mediums are really not the tyre to be at this point. So maybe Laho playing a bit of a blunder here. Clearly trying to go for the one stop. I mean, 2 laps away from the halfway point in this race. I mean, is it worth it staying on and then having a bit of an easier run of it on the hards to the end? Are the mediums a better race tie to be on, even if they fall off? I'm not sure, but as we approach half distance, it's all change here at Spa-Francorchamps. Here comes like Mornier on the DRS, on the run onto the Camel Straight on Braxock. He'll blast on by and up into 4th place. And again, a little bit further back than Lucas Murno, who does now have the net lead of this race. But Lucas Murno, you'd expect, is due another pit stop. Mounier, if he can make these hards last, could have played an absolute blinder. But I have doubt over whether he'll be able to, or certainly towards the end of the race, if there'll be the life, if there will be the pace in that hard compound tyre. We'll wait to see.
And do you know who the wild card in this deck is? Peter Burlack, because Peter started on the hard. He's going to definitely, well, I would have thought go at least another 4 laps. And he's in pretty good shape. And then he's onto mediums for the run home on the quicker tyre than any of them. So that's making it very, very interesting.
I think you'll have to pit at lap 24. So there we go. Laho has now come to the pits. And that's a very, very late call for the medium. So Brilac, the sole hard runner at the start, is on his own into the lead. And with Murno, he'll take 2nd place. So we'll see whereabouts Laho will come out for, what tire company he's gone for. He's gone for the hards. And we'll see, will he exit out through. Murno goes on past that. We'll imagine Munier, who's just past Brashok, will also go past Grangfist, who just had the lead from Laho, gone past. And Mark Schluter as well, following through behind. So we see Laho, he drops all the way down to 7th place. And as I said, Grangfist up into 5th. So this race has completely flipped on its head with Brillac leading onto the hards. But look up for ahead between Brashok and Grandfest. Grandfest makes his way on through past. Brashok makes his way past on through Munier up ahead. And we can see Schluter making his way past through Grandfest here for 5th as well. So changing right through the camel stretch as we see 2 positions change. As it's Brashok to 3rd and Schluter to 5th.
Yes, all changed then on the Camel Straight, and suddenly the race flipping its head here at Spa. So Schluter, Mounier, Braxock now realistically in the net lead, given that Murno will need to box again, but don't come up with back. He will, of course, be on the medium tyre for the second. He will be quicker, but those who stopped earlier, of course, catching him up. And then, of course, Frank Laho, we know what their pace is like, even if they have dropped back after the pit stop. This could be really, really tight coming to the end of things. Lap 21 of 44. We're soon to approach half distance here. Lucas Murno, that is your net race leader. He's 7 seconds behind the actual race leader, who is still yet to stop onto the medium compound tyre again. He'll be going probably a couple more laps, but again, the medium stint for him will be easier. Less fuel on the car. It'll be nicer on the tyres for that second stint. Track will be rubbered in as well. But I don't think that hard medium is the way to go for myself personally. We'll wait to see. DRS Mooney at Schluter and Grangfist as well. Oh, we lost old Shooks. Second retirement of the race. Then there were 10. What has happened for the optimal driver? We'll get a replay here.
Lost it big time at Puhon and front into the tyre barriers.
Yeah, he was a bit awkward out of the curb on the way, and then the curb on the way out at Puhon. He was already a bit squirrely at No Name. The curb on the way in probably pushed him out. Car probably then bottomed out on the curbs on the exit, then just lost grip. And then at that point, unfortunately, through what is one of the biggest corners on the circuit, you're a bit of a passenger there. That's our second DNF. David, it's an easy mistake to make through that corner. It's a corner you've got to be so precise at. But even with all the runoff that's there at Modern Spa, it's one that will bite back if you get it wrong.
All you got to do is approach it at 101%, and that's what can happen. Now, intriguing here, we've got 3 different things happening. We've got Peter Burlac going on hard medium. We've got Lucas Murno going on what I think is going to be medium soft. And he's not out of this yet because he's going to be so quick on the softs at the end. It's going to be 10 qualifying laps on the soft. And when he rejoins, he's only going to rejoin 10 seconds behind. And then you've got our earlier lead pack, Brakshock, Meunier, Schluter, Granquist, all on the same strategy, which was medium hard. So there are 3 strategies here with 6 different drivers involved. So this is the stuff I got out of bed for in the morning to see this happen.
It's a very interesting phase of this race as we do go over half distance, because it's all about a strategy. What can Murno do on that medium compound, and then he'll need another stop as well, and then it's all a bit shaken up given the order of pit stops. David, you did say that...
Sorry.
No, I was going to say that you did say the undercut, of course, will get you the advantage, and it has done so. But then you've got to go longer on the tyres. Then you're thinking, okay, end of the race, what's the pace going to be like?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was just doing some mental calculations because Murno only went 12 laps on his initial set of mediums. But that's not to say that's all he could do. That's to say that he felt that was the moment to put a new set on and go really fast. Let's say, for example, he could have done 14 without too much trouble had he not wanted to go for a bold undercut. So let's say with a bit lighter car and a bit more rubber, we can probably comfortably do 16 on these. So he's been on them since lap 12. He's done 10 on these. Another 6 laps gets us into lap 29. Yeah, he can run these and then do a soft stint. And I'm inclined to think, I'm not a gambling man, but if I was a gambling man, I would put £5 on Murno coming back out to party on the soft tyre at the end and create havoc.
We've said he's going to go into the pits as well in lap 29. Currently at the moment, Briliac is about a second slower than that of Murno onto the medium, so we could see a change of the lead in about 3 laps or so as Briliac's hards continue to decline, and well, Murno's decline is not going to decline at the same mark as Briliac, as we've seen before on the hard and medium compounds before in the past.
Yeah, I wonder how far Peter Burlack feels he can take the medium tyre for the final stint.
He's still sticking out there, that's the thing as well. So, I mean, if he boxes now, he'll come out P7, P6, P7. So, but he's going to be so far behind, he's going to need to have a right lick of pace in that car to really contest for the win here. He can certainly be looking at very solid points, don't get me wrong. Little look there from Loic Meunier on Brakshock on the run into Lacon, more just a filling the mirrors sort of event over anything. But again, brilliant. I don't know, he's staying out so long. At this point, again, you're just costing yourself time, I think. Murno, 4.2 away, he's not going to be far away at all. Current lap times from the pair of them. Brillac's running a 146, Murno's running 1.5 seconds quicker, a 144, or 45.1 compared to a 46.6. So we're only a couple laps away from him getting caught anyway. Maybe his plan is just to wait till he gets caught and come in and then just...
I guess he's got to be competitive in this final stint. And with Murno, as much as any of these other guys, he needs to be fast on these mediums. And if he puts them on too early, he's going to be very vulnerable. So it's very much a game of balancing out, measuring out how fast he can be and how long he can be quick on that final set of tyres. But
well,
he's
it really is
again,
just...
gone around again. Lap 25, so that's now 25 laps on the hards, 19 to go. I don't know, 18 is probably a nice even number. Zeuuw went 20 laps, didn't he, on the medium?
Yeah, he went 20 laps on the mediums, but we've seen many people come to the pits around 17 or 18.
Yeah.
And the thing about Murno was 14 laps on the mediums. Is he eyeing for 14 laps on the mediums then? If that's the case, so he's going to prolong those hards as long as he possibly can, but realistically, I don't see him pitting no later than 29, really.
Yeah, well, I guess his strategy was to be fast at the end, so I guess he wants to make sure he's going to be fast at the end. Okay, we've seen how much quicker Murno is going than him. How much faster is, for example, Brakshock, 44.3. Yeah, Brakshock's about a 1.2 seconds quicker than him last time around. Murno's pace has dulled a little bit. Last time round 45.4, and Burlak's doing a 45.5. So Murno's assault on Burlak is evaporating a little bit, as you would expect, being on the softer tyre. That's gone past its sweet spot.
Only a tenth slower. That's mad.
Yeah.
Might win.
Gonna be interesting.
Might actually pull this back.
Not sure.
Commentator's curse.
I'm
Commentator's
just,
curse.
Don't say
Don't
that just there. Don't say that just yet.
Murno is pitting. Murno is pitting for his second stop.
What?
Lucas
What?
Murno's
That's
pitting.
early. Wow.
So almost the exact same stint length as his first stint. So
You thought he'd
he's gonna
push
push
those
these ones.
mediums a bit further, and he's going to have
18
to
laps to
surely
go.
go hard to the
he's
end.
gone
Yeah, he
for
does
hards.
go.
He's gone for hards. There we are.
I mean, I'd have thought he'd have tried to push the medium, that second medium stint a bit further to try and go soft to the end. Given that he wasn't
That's
the
weird.
two-stopper. Unless maybe the soft's not a good race tyre. But hard to the end, he's now, a long way back from Alex the host. So maybe you couldn't get the tyres to last in that Automalo car. But I'm really surprised that was the decision.
David, how long do the soft tires last in the pro race from your perspective again?
In practice, I was managing to get 11 laps pretty comfortably out of them.
11 laps.
Yeah. But that was probably probably for me, they'd lost their use after about 10 laps. But it was a case of, I needed 11 to make it work. This is all theoretical, of course, because I crashed on the first lap. But about 11 laps. They do go away pretty quickly. The softs.
Yeah,
but they're dynamite quick for those first few laps.
I'm just as bamboozled as you are, Ross, because not only is Murno again on his second stint on the mediums, but also he's on a lighter fuel load. So surely it would provide less stress to the tyres than he did on his first stint. So I'm quite perplexed by this, and 18 laps on the hards. We've already seen
absolutely,
Brilliak
man.
27. Brilliak is on 27 on the hards, and he's still doing fine. So I'm wondering if it might be a driving style on Murno's end that's making him degrade the tyres much faster than everyone else.
It could be a setup thing. Lucas he's not a driver that I know for being harsh on the tyres. Again, he's not a driver that I know can pull miracles in terms of stint lengths. But he's pretty good at them for the most part. So, but maybe it's a setup thing. Maybe the car's just set up and it's just particularly aggressive. Maybe the team just decided that two-stopper was the safest way to go. But honestly, I think that's a massive blunder that has massively taken him out of contention for this race win. Of course, it's racing. Anything can happen. Everyone in front of him could wipe each other out. That's always a possibility. But again, at the FSR World Championship level, you wouldn't expect that to be happening, would you? I'm a bit baffled by it, to be honest. They'll be getting good data in him.
I'm less surprised by the stint length, although I'm probably slightly surprised, because I think for most sort of mortal humans, 12 to 14 laps is about it for the mediums. But then you've got these, geniuses that are able to do up to 20 like the Hoodie. So I think Schluter came in at about lap 14 off his mediums. I'll look at that. So it was more bizarre for me, more of a mystery for me how the Who made them last so long. Okay, who's pitting? That's Burlak. Peter Burlak. He heard us talking.
That's lap 28 laps on the hards. As he enters into his pit window, he's gone for the mediums. I think that medium's 16 laps, so that will, I think, see him to the end, possibly. I can't see him squeezing a soft stint out of that.
Oh, definitely not.
So that will be
not having done 28 laps on the hards. This is definitely a one-stop scenario. Okay, he's come out now behind Murno. And Murno, as we've just discussed, went to the hards. Burlak has gone to the medium. So Burlak would certainly be putting setting his sights on catching and passing Murno as a no-brainer, but then Zeuuw is a lot further up the road, 12 seconds further up the road.
Oh my word, that was Munir going a bit squiggly on the exit of No Name, but manages to keep it in one piece. That was, again, almost ended horribly again for the Frenchman, but keeps it forward in one piece, so almost so close, but still going ahead, 28 out of 44, so I think if we've got right, Brilek and Murno is still on course for maybe a chance for the lead, but we'll see how the rest of them plan out if they get their arms to last towards the end of the race. I'm pretty doubtful on that. I think a handful of them are going to squeeze maybe a soft stint towards the end, but for Murno, Murno just needs to defend all he possibly can against Peter. Maybe hope that his defense could maybe lower or degrade the mediums quicker than the hards. Again, it's very hard because Murno again pitted pretty early for them, and we've seen Brilek last 28 laps of them, so it's quite hard, especially from the naked eye that what we have. We can't really see quite up close for what the drivers are communicating to their engineers or what they feel in regards to the tires. There's so many different characteristics and very different elements into this, as Grankvist up against Munir, who's been struggling a bit the lap before, and that will allow for the Finnish driver to get past the Frenchman up into third place, and that'll be the ALM MV at least one car onto the provisional podium slot for the time being. His teammate Alex Lowe still about a second and a half behind, and he's going to try his best to get into the picture, and hopefully from what they had been leading through in terms of a 1-2 could be able to pick off Schluter and Brashok one by one. They've done very well in terms of defense, and I think we might see the similar situation with Grankvist and Laho in terms of an offense.
Schluter is inching to within DRS range of Brashok, and it's been coming down over the last lap or two. He's currently 0.6 off Janos Brashok in first place. Equal tyres, both on the medium, but Schluter is now within just over half a second. So Schluter will have two shots of DRS. He'll have DRS on the pit straight, and he'll have DRS on the Camel straight. And this is the money shot, because if Schluter can get past Brashok and then pull a gap, he can let the other guys fight it out amongst themselves. So here we go into pit straight.
Yeah, this is going to be nice and tight between these guys as they come out of La Source, get a good run through Eau Rouge and Radion, which, even though it's on a hot lap, a pretty easy corner nowadays. It's still difficult when you're following another, but clean through there from Mark Schluter, and this should be as easy as they come. And look at that, halfway down Kemmel Straight, well before the braking zone, the German, the reigning champion, has gone to the race lead here at Spa, that 30 of 44. The question is now, Grankvist, Meunier, do they follow? Well, Grankvist will try to, certainly. Meunier is a bit further back on an older set of tyres, but Grankvist will try to follow through. But I think we're starting to see that it's going to be a Grankvist against Schluter race. Who's going to hold on? Again, Grankvist, fantastic driver. Schluter, equally a fantastic driver, but one who has a lot of success here at Spa in the past in single-seater racing and rFactor 2. So I think it might be advantage Schluter for the time being, but we've still got a little bit of the way to go. It can all change, of course, and there's incidents that may happen, touch wood that doesn't, but you never know what curveball the racing gods are going to throw at you. Grankvist will need to clear Braxop pretty quickly, though. Schluter will want to try and break away, use that car that's in between himself and the Finnish driver in third place to act as a bit of a buffer and try and break away. So he'll be trying to bolt. Grankvist will be trying to go through. No room at the bus, of course. Grankvist will probably be trying to do similar. Get that run down the Kemmel Straight. That is the easiest place to overtake, given modern Formula cars, DRS and all of that. As some people might term it, woke nonsense that we have, you know, take us back, V10s, no DRS, all of that. But outside of my opinions on what Formula racing should be, yeah, Grankvist, I've got to say, it should be making pretty easy work.
I think we should do, we'll pick them up.
Brackshock's got DRS, but he's a fair way back. I don't think this is a slam dunk.
Alex Laho makes his way past Munir though, and that's going to be very important for his championship lead. I was doing the calculations, it would have been down to 7 points, but now it has just gone down to only 9 points now. It's increased to 9 points now since Alex Laho has gone up to 4th at the time being, so again, there is a championship lead and a battle kind of going on. Provisionally, the way it stands, Schluter holds on to 25 points and Alex Laho 15 points. So the difference could be closing up. We started this with 19 points, so it's going to come down to about 10 amongst each other. And Mark Schluter could be in course for maybe the first driver since Alex Laho to get 2 race wins in a row. Alex achieved that at the start of the season, but again, it's a very, very early call for that, Ross. Still, many things can happen in the dying stages of a race. Still 13 laps left to go.
Well, you know,
It's still to play for. Sorry, David.
do you know how far back you've got to look to find Alex Laho from the lead?
How far?
1.8 seconds. 2 laps ago, do you know how far back he was? 3.2. We've seen Alex Laho do this time and time again, come out with a bit of a tire deg advantage with those later stops, and this inch by inch hunt down the leaders. He's now 1.8 seconds from the lead. 12 laps to run. 12 laps around Spa is a lot. What's 12 times 7? It's a big number anyway, a lot of kilometres. So, Laho is I'm starting to sort of hear that Jaws theme tune, you know, as Laho closes up to 1.7 seconds on the lead group. So this fight is hotting up.
Alex, of course, is a spectacular driver. I don't think anybody needs to know that, but he's had a really tough year in personal life. In 2026, there's been a lot going on. He's had to make a lot of sacrifices, certainly in other championships, but you can tell he's pouring his heart and his soul into his FSR World Championship campaign this year. And again, 3 years so far this season. If he can get a 4th here, he's got 19 points to the good ahead of Mark Schluter. With a win here, even if Schluter finishes 2nd, he's putting himself almost a race win clear in the championship standing, coming into the last 3 rounds of the season. I can tell that he wants this. I can tell that the Frenchman almost needs this, really. Again, it's been a tough year for him personally, but he's still a fantastic driver. You can't count out, even if there are things going on outside of the racetrack that may or may not be effective, to throw basically his whole season behind this championship.
The first time I saw Alex Laho compete was in the FSR Winter Series, which I might talk about in a moment, but he came along and he was blisteringly quick in the Winter Series, and I thought, who is this guy? And we're chatting to him saying, well, are you going to come and race in the main season? And he said, oh no, I don't think so, I'm a bit busy, got a bit going on. And I thought, oh, what a loss. It would be amazing if he came along and raced. So ultimately he has come along and raced, so FSR has been richer for the fact that Alex Laho has joined us for the season, he's now just gone into 2nd place. He's cleared Brackshock in the Optimali, so Laho is now 0.7 of a second behind Mark Schluter for 1st.
Again, he's a hell of a driver, Alex. He's a good bloke as well. Don't talk to him about traffic cones in Liverpool, is all I'll say. But when he gets on a racetrack, and even if things aren't going right from off of the track, on the track, he'll certainly be having a run. But he can certainly push through. And again, it'd mean so to him, I can imagine, personally and championship-wise, if he could take this race victory. But Mark Schluter will surely put up a fight. Again, Alex, David, you talked about the fact that he come along as an amazing driver from the get-go. This is a guy who got to start in virtual racing in Roblox of all things, and he's managed to transfer all of those skills and then some into rFactor 2. He's the FSR World Championship leader and is now hunting down the race leader here on lap 33, soon to be 34, and he'll be looking to make it 4 wins on the season potentially.
Now I might just take this moment before we get into the last 10 laps, which are going to be obviously pretty hot and heavy since Laho now has DRS on Mark Schluter. I mentioned the Winter Series. If any of the viewers, if anybody out there is interested in getting involved in Formula SimRacing, all you need is to have a sim rig and a copy of rFactor 2, which is the bargain of the decade at the moment because it is a sensational sim, best open wheeler sim that you can drive, and it's very inexpensive. Come along, do the Winter Series. It's a great way to find a team, to see what your pace is like, get your feet wet, if you like, in the series, and see how it all works out for you. Come and join us in the Winter Series, which will be announced later in the season, and see how you like it. We'll be looking for more drivers. We hope to expand to a third grid again. That's our normal structure, is to have 3 grids, but it's just all dependent on sign-ups. And you two can come and race against the very best drivers in the world and see how you stack up.
Lap 34 of 44. We're now entering the dying phases of this race, and the picture is clear. It seems to be Schluter against Alex Lahoe. Of course, don't count out Jan Grankvist as well. He is a man who can make miracles happen, seemingly magic excellence out of nowhere on a racetrack. So he will certainly be still in this fight, even if his teammate is currently trying to vie for the race lead. We end the last 10 laps of this contest here in the FSR World Championship at Spa. Heading on to the main straight out of the bus stop. I'll be looking for the run out of the last source into Eau Rouge and Radion, and then get the classic DRS move down the Kemmel Straight and into Les Combes. Spa, of course, a circuit that has so much history across the years, be it the old layout that went through the forest of the Ardennes, or this new layout that has provided us with excellent racing since it was built in the 70s, primarily for safety reasons, of course, but it has still proved itself to be one of the greatest circuits in the world. It must be said that Lahoe hasn't had a great run actually out of Radion, and it looked like for a moment Grankvist may have been thinking about a move, but maybe the team are on the radio saying, look, don't take out your teammate, let's just keep it nice and calm. You're running 2 and 3 at the moment. Let's see what Alex can do. Let's see if you can both get through Mark Schluter. There's still time left on the table. Then you can fight. Again, you can never count out Jan Grankvist from the conversation for a race lead, even with the pace that Lahoe's shown over the last couple of laps. What I think is going to happen is that Lahoe's going to get through Schluter, hold Schluter up to get Grankvist through, and then it's going to be teammates fighting to the end.
Fastest man on the circuit is Peter Burlack with a 1:42.964. He is going half a second quicker, second and a half quicker than Lahoe and Schluter, and currently 9 seconds back. So Peter Burlack's having a bit of fun out there.
He's having about 9 laps to go, and speaking about 9 laps to go, Mounier is one of the first. He came into the pits with about 10 laps to go. He's the first of our soft runners. So we'll also keep an eye on him, because if the soft does translate well for him, he could see himself get up upon much more positions. But this could be a bit of a calling sign to those in the front that would be willing to do an extra stint on the soft. So we'll see if Schluter, Lahoe, Grankvist or Brashok bites the bullet and does come to the pits. But time will certainly tell if that will ever happen. He's already got down to about under a second of Murno, so well and truly could overtake the Brazilian in the closing stages of the race.
So Schluter's still doing a pretty damn good job of holding off Alex Lahoe. Schluter won this race last season very emphatically over Janos Brashok, who went for an alternate tyre strategy with a bold undercut onto softs. And Mark Schluter just stuck to his guns, knew what tyre he wanted, and obviously with a bit of patience was then able to capitalise when the softs went off. So he's no stranger to victory here at this circuit. And Mark Schluter is attempting to defend the Formula Sim Racing World Championship. And I don't know if you guys, last round we talked about this. Only 4 drivers in the 26-year history of Formula Sim Racing have managed to defend a championship, have managed to win more than one. So it's quite a thing. If Mark Schluter can defend his championship, he will be in a very select group of drivers.
It's going to be an interesting affair to the end of this race. So Mounier boxing onto the softs, trying to go for fastest lap, I think it's safe to say. Probably wasn't in contention, but could still catch Murno if the pace is good enough. We'll keep our eye on the race view live timing over the rest of this race, but time's ticking away. Pending some sort of racing god intervention mega pile-up, I think it's safe to say that Loic Mounier has conceded defeat, certainly in the fight for the race lead. That's a really good run out of Radion for Alex Lehot. Is this the moment? Is this the move for the race? Schluter to the inside to defend. Lehot's going to have to go the long way around, but he's going to get it done before the corner. Schluter tucks in behind. We have a new race leader on lap 37 of 44 here at Spa. And it is the championship leader who gets through the reigning champion. His title rival, Alex Lehot, is looking for the 4th win on the season. Can he bolt away? Will he try to hold Schluter back to make it a team 1-2, get his teammate through in the form of Jan Krankvist? We'll wait to see. But finally got that run that he was waiting a couple of laps for. Alex Lehot to the lead.
Great overtake. Fantastic overtake by Lehot. Exactly what it needs. Just calm and collective as you want. No endless battling, really. We haven't really seen endless battles throughout this entire battle, but when you've got like Brilak, Murno and Mounier behind trying their best to catch up to yourself, you want to make it as quick as you want, and indeed quick as you want is what he managed to do, and that's fantastic. Honestly, from the French, we'll see if Grankvist will be able to follow suit. I imagine he will, given also the advantage that he has against Schluter, but he has got the added advantage now of Lehot leading, and what we have seen them to both do whenever they were in the lead at the start of the race, I think we might see something similar. Lehot will be able to assist him, but also Grankvist, I think, from his own skill set, could make his way past Schluter regardless. But Schluter is still caught in a slipstream with Lehot, so it is actually going to be a bit harder for Grankvist to make his way on past, more so than Lehot did the lap prior. Yep, but in fact, Schluter might actually respond.
Schluter's going to have him.
He's going to have him with the DRS. He has the DRS, and Schluter retakes back the lead away from Lehot. And Lehot had briefly just a minute of an entire lap of taking the lead, and Schluter will happily take it right back as the championship battle brews on. It was brewing in the table and it brews on here on track now. We're closing on to the final few stages. 6 laps left on the board to the end of the race, and it's Schluter that still leads. Lehot and Grankvist, though, still charging behind him.
We have game on here at Spa. Schluter, clearly more tyre life than we were expecting in that hard compound. And he's willing to get the elbows out as we enter the dying phases here at Spa. So Schluter back to the lead of the race. Lehot will want to respond. And then what's going through Jan Krankvist's mind? What's the Finnish driver thinking as he watches his teammate do battle with the reigning champion? Of course, Jan Krankvist still very much in the title fight this season as well. 1 victory to his name so far this year, back at Baku, a 2nd place at Bahrain, a 3rd place at Albert Park as well. Missed last time out at Silverstone, of course, as we get a little bit squirrely on the run out of the bus stop. But this is setting up itself to be a grandstand finish here in the Ardennes. We've got 3 cars that seemingly have the pace to take victory. The question is what's the tyre life like on Mark Schluter? We've already seen him give it back a little bit, but can he hold on for much longer? Lehot, of course, will be hungry for the race win, and Krankvist patient behind like a predator, stalking the prey. But with his teammate there, will team orders come into the fray, or is it race on, boys? Just don't hit each other. We'll wait and see. Lap 39 of 44. We've only got a handful to go. Schluter from Lehot from Krankvist, your top 3.
Now, I'll tell you what I observed coming into the bus stop chicane. Alex Lehot absolutely pushed it to the limit. I think Amir noticed it. Lehot pushed it to the limit, got a little bit offline with a very late, very aggressive braking move. Lehot is on his limit, trying to catch Mark, and Mark Schluter might be a guy that you can catch and you can get a DRS pass on, but he's not a guy that you can catch and drive away from. And Schluter is pushing now, and I think Lehot is on his limit to run with Schluter at the minute. And that was not on, or if that was on the script, Mark Schluter did not read the script. So it's a 1 second gap now. And the other wild card, of course, is who's been using push to pass to get the job done and who's managed to nurse a bit of it, squirrel a bit away for the dying stages of the race. So incredible battle between these two magnificent drivers for what is going to be an important strategic victory, but also an important moral victory. Who's got the high ground? Who's got bragging rights about the win in Spa?
Yeah, I just realised that as well from what happened between Schluter and Laho. You saw Schluter, he was effectively pulling away from Laho. I think Laho kind of knew that and it was giving his all into the first sector and just didn't quite materialise as much as the Frenchman would have hoped. But now he kind of sees himself a bit under threat from his teammate who has the DRS and Laho doesn't. So we might be able to see Grangfist and Laho maybe switching positions if Grangfist does seem to be a bit faster than Laho. And if that's the case, then maybe the fight to Schluter could allow for Laho to be invited into the picture. But only time will tell, and really up to the people at MV to see if that will really be the case.
Peter Burlak circulating half a second a lap quicker than these guys. May not catch them, but he's going to certainly get within touching distance, which is a bit of fun.
He's like 7.8 seconds, so he was kind of bagging on hoping that Schluter and Laho and Grangfist, which I think is partially the reason why we didn't see Laho or Schluter fight as frequently as we would have imagined them to. They probably knew that Brillac was on the mediums and was catching up much quicker, so by not fighting, they're effectively denying Peter the chance to really catch up to them. So again, that's kind of a strategy that all three cars kind of had in place, which is kind of why we didn't see them as fight as much as we imagined.
So if Schluter can manage to hang on, and there's 4 laps left to go, which is a lot of racing here at Spa. 4.7's at 28. I can do that one in my head. 28 kilometres. If Schluter hangs on, he will reduce his deficit by 7 points, because first place is 25, second place is 18. That'll bring a 19-point gap down to 12 points with 3 races to go. That sounds a lot better than 19 points in my book.
Grangfist was breathing down Laho's neck, though. Are we going to see an overtake, Ross?
No, I wasn't going to say anything. I just unmuted myself, but now that I've unmuted myself, we'll go on board with Jan Grangfist as he blasts past his teammate. Another twist in this story here at Spa as the ALM drivers swap positions. That was not defended particularly hard by Laho, but certainly wasn't a team orders occasion. That was Grangfist with the pace alone. The Finnish driver getting bored being behind the gearbox of the Frenchman in front and deciding to move through. Maybe he feels like he now has the pace to try and attack Mark Schluter, but while those two are fighting, it has allowed Schluter to pull away. Now, well, I say now, it's fluctuating, potentially clear of DRS from Grangfist behind, but in the dying phase of this race, anything is possible. The fact that there was only 12 cars going into this one, and on lap 41, soon to be 42 or 44, we've got 3 fighting for the lead right at the death. What a story here at Spa. This historic circuit is serving us up yet another treat in the FSR World Championship.
Is Mark Schluter looking in those rearview mirrors at the other ALM MV vehicle and saying, please don't be any faster than you, buddy? I've already fought off one of you.
I think that will probably be the case, but we might see if they might swap positions again. I think Grangfist, if he is going to be the lead charge to fight against Schluter, will need an absolute hell of a 2-lap stint to catch up to Schluter, who's about a second away. But Laho could respond with the slipstream and with the DRS. He slingshots past his teammate and he retakes second place away from Grangfist, and it looks to be that Laho has retaken to be the forefront to challenge Schluter's lead.
I tell you what, guys, this is playing right into the hands of Mark Schluter here, because there's clearly no team orders going on at ALM for Laho and Grangfist. And while they're scrapping, yes, they're still within range of DRS and Mark Schluter, but while they're focusing on each other, it is just going to allow Schluter breathing room. He can take it easy on the tyres for the last couple of laps. save himself up. So if push does come to shove for the race lead, he's got that little extra in his back pocket that he can deploy to get away with. So, you know, if I am the ALM manager, if I'm there on the radio to Laho and Grant, I'd be right on there going, guys, what are we doing? Calm down, go for Schluter. You know, it's better to have a driver first and third than a driver second and third. Yes, of course, the World Championship leader. There's clearly no preference in what is going on in terms of the drivers' standings. But, you know, what are they doing out there?
Ross, Alex just had an absolute stormer of the last lap, though. Absolutely caught up to Schluter in the second and third sector. He is a bit breathing room within Mark, but Mark is going to do his best to absolutely pull away out of the source, heading into Rouge through to Radio. We're going to be uphill. Is it going to be close enough for Laho to have the DRS? Only time will tell. About 6/10. That's just about within DRS range, and Laho will activate it with ease. It's not going to be close enough to make the overtake, but Ross is going to allow him to carry this fight to Schluter right down to the final lap.
You know what, that inter-team business of Zeuuw and Gronquist working together, there was a flip side to that coin of those two fighting, and that was that Zeuuw got a bit of a slingshot last time round. Reminded me of those Olympic cycling events. Is it called the Madison, where one driver comes along and grabs the other driver's arm and that driver flings them forward? It was almost like a bit of that with DRS actually. But threw Alex Zeuuw at a higher speed up within touching distance of Mark Schluter. Half a second. 1 lap to go. 0.6 of a second.
It's so close, and also the stretch here through to the final corner, we're going to be for an absolute fantastic duel between Schluter and Laho, two championship leaders. Hardly any points have been separating between them. Oh, it's only been 19 points, but Schluter could become a double race winner. Laho, as you've said, Ross, could become many times over. 4 races, only one way to find out. We're on to the final lap now, Ross.
We are indeed, and Schluter 6/10 is his advantage as we head into La Source for the final time here at Spa in the Formula Sim Racing World Championship. What's the run going to be from Alex Laho through Eau Rouge and Radion, these iconic corners, as we head up stories of height up the top of the hill? Laho, I think, is going to be too far back through the Kemmel Straight and into Lacombe. Grankvist certainly too far back for the time being. He may now be hoping to see if they crash into each other. There's moves further back. Brilak gets through Backstock up into 4th place. Also trying to go through like Mounier, who's got up into 4th place. No, it was Mounier that got past Backstock there, in fact. So now those two go up into 4th and 5th place. Back to the front though. Laho's going to have to create something special through the middle sector. At this point, it's all about the run into the bus stop, Amir. Can Laho get it?
It's still super close. I wonder if Schluter depleted all his push to pass from the Kemmel Straight, and Laho couldn't do anything much to respond, even with the slipstream, even with the DRS. But we still got half a sector left to go, and Laho's giving absolutely everything to Schluter. But Schluter doing all the best he can to respond. He's doing absolutely great lap he's had, and he's managed to stabilize the gap. We've got 1 straight and a couple of corners left to go. Seems to be Schluter's for the losing, but time will certainly tell.
It will indeed. Can Alex Laho make a miracle happen in the dying phases of this race? Looks too far back into the bus stop. Will be too far back into the bus stop. Pending a mistake. Mark Schluter's going to win his 2nd race of the year. What a performance here at Spa. I said he was good around here at the Ardennes. Mark Schluter wins at Spa in the FSR World Championship. The German withstands all of the pressure from Alex Laho and Jan Grankvist, and he will be delighted with that one. What a performance from the ground effect driver. The top 3 finishing almost in tandem there, with Laho in 2nd, Grankvist in 3rd. But it's Mark Schluter's day here at Spa. What a run from him, what a race. And the pressure he withstood, kept his nerve, kept his cool, kept it on the tarmac, and kept it there till the checkered flag. Mark Schluter, win number 2 of 2026.
Well, that was a sensational fight, wasn't it? I mean, it's hard to talk about this stuff without invoking a few of the cliches, but Mark Schluter had everything thrown up against him there. Two very quick teammates working pretty well together, and he held them off. I'm sure we all thought it was over when LeHou passed Mark for the first time, but then Mark got him back on the very next lap and then pulled a gap. It was just absolutely sensational driving. I'm really pleased that I was here to witness it up close, because it was an incredible battle for the two protagonists, really, for the World Championship. Amazing to see them duking it out in a fair fight on similar strategies. Magnificent driving.
Of course, Mark Schluter as well closes that championship gap down. 15 points separating LeHou and Schluter. LeHou still leading the way, heading into the last 3 rounds of the season. But maybe that's a bit of pressure on for the reigning champion. It is Mark Schluter that wins. Alex LeHou, Jan Grankvist making an ALM 2-3 on the podium places. Brulac is 4th. Loic Mounier, after boxing for soft tyres late in the day, finishes 5th place. Then it's Janos Brakstok, Lucas Murno on the 2-stopper, and he'll be disappointed with 7th place, but certainly had the pace to fight at the front. Then Nando Marsa P8, Matthew Tusa 9th, and Amin Susi P10, our final finisher. We did have 2 retirements in this race, of course, in the form of Zeuuw Schuks and Xasper Elekes. But wow, what a race that was. The front 3 so tight together all the way to the end, and Amir, it gets a bit tighter in the championship as well.
It absolutely does, and Schluter absolutely needed this race win to kind of bridge the gap that LeHou started in the first 2 races. Now Schluter has got multiple race win accolade added to his name, and also 2 in a row, especially when you, well, almost 2 in a row, I think it was previously. So yeah, it was almost so close back in Silverstone, so it could have almost been 3 in a row. But again, he's had such great momentum, and it's exactly what Mark really needs. And when we come up next into Monza, Singapore, and Interlagos, we're going to look back at this race win and we think, wow, this is how it's going to catapult Mark Schluter's championship charge, and it's going to bring something of a spectacle in the last 3 races that I'm sure not only we, but also every racing fan in rFactor 2 doesn't want to miss.
So, would we like to have Alex LeHou in for an interview? He's in the waiting room.
Yep, I think we could do that, but a quick look through the championship standings, as it is LeHou that holds on to 141 points. It was effectively damage control since Mark Schluter took the lead, but he certainly gave him a good run for his money. As Ross aforementioned said, it's down to 15 points now through that gap. 20 points now separates between Schluter and Braščák, so that's put Schluter away from Braščák's worry at the moment for the Grand Effect driver. Jan Grankvist with another podium added to his name. It's going to be 105 points. He's only 1 point away from Janos in that ever so slight tight battle for P3. Loic Mounier still joins in that as he records through another 12-point finish, similar to what he finished in Silverstone. He did get beat by Peter Brulac almost to the line for Envy Conquest. It's the first time in a pretty long while that he's outscored his teammate, as he's currently over for 85 points. Then it's Nando Marsa. Lucas Murno continues on his trajectory upward with 38 points in 8th. It's Christian Pasquale with a non-finish in 35 points after a no-show in Belgium. And Matthew Tucson joins alongside him in equal points for joint 9th as well. So that brings us now time for the interviews. We'll bring over through. Actually, David, do you want to do LeHou first, or do you want to do Mark first?
Well, Mark's arrived, so let's bring the race winner in first of all. I'll bring him in now.
Okay.
Mark Schluter, you with us?
Yep, I'm here.
Well, it's here. Who's doing the interview? There's 3 of us. Someone make a decision. Come on, guys.
Who'd like to do the honours? Well, I can I start? I want to say, Mark, congratulations. It was a massive battle between you 2 guys. Sensational battle, and you showed your class then when Alex got past you, and then you retook him, and then pulled enough of a gap to keep the lead for the rest of the race. So you must be feeling. Does it feel pretty good to prevail in a straight fight with Alex and come home with the victory?
Yeah, feels really good after the bit of robbery from last race. But yeah, just have to go push and win the last 3 races as well to be able to maybe snatch the championship from Alex. But will be very, very hard to do so, since he has Jan, who is a backup for him, and yeah, I am pretty much alone. But I think I will be able to. I think I can outsmart these guys in the last 3 races, but we'll have to see.
Well, from where I sat, it was a very, very impressive drive. So, congratulations. And no pressure, but I'm not sure if you're aware that only 4 drivers in the history of FSR have managed to win more than 1 championship. So that's obviously Jurni Simicic, Bono House, and the other 2 guys slipped my name. I did an interview with one of the German guy who was there at the formative first few years of FSR. He managed to win the championship 3 times. So, yep, it'd be a magnificent achievement if you did, and you certainly showed today your class and that you've got what it takes to do it. So, great work.
Yeah, thank you, David.
Does anybody else have any other questions for Mark?
Yeah, just from me, Mark, fantastic work on your another race win. It's the 2nd in a row. 15 points separates from you and Alex. A curious question, though, on the start. We were talking about how high the temperatures were, and you were not fend off, but your championship rival, Alex Laho, starting in pole position. Jan Grankvist was joined alongside him. How did you feel in that start? You did your best to make the overtake against Grankvist, but were you thinking about those two, the teammates to ahead, and what was your mind going through the strategy that allowed you to get ahead up in the end?
Well, for once, I thought that the tire wear was higher than it was, so I was thinking about a 2-stop, and then I was just seeing that these guys in front of me were just going and going and going on, so I just kept the same, and then yeah, just kept the hearts in check in the end, and I think I surprised Jan a bit with my overtake, since we both had DRS, but I just used my push to pass in the right moment, I think, and I think I surprised him a bit. I also think maybe that was the decisive maneuver I had to do to be able to win against Alex today, because I think if I wouldn't have done that, then Jan would have been pretty much a driving obstacle to try and block me from getting Alex. So I think that was the best thing I had to do there.
Well done on your race win, Mark. I'll let Ross ask a question.
Yes, hello, Mark. Fantastic result for you. Congratulations. I know that Spa's a track you always run really, really well out, no matter what championship, no matter what car. But again, pressure was on there a little bit at the end, but you were clearly comfortable. Is it a case of you just saved tyre and battery just in case you came under attack, or was it just you knew you had the pace to get to the end?
I mean, in the first turn, I was just sitting behind these two, just trying to stay in the DRS, because I think it was pretty much impossible to overtake there if I have these guys in front and both have DRS. So yeah, just saving my push to pass, my tires, and I think I also think I had the best tire wear maybe out of the 3 of us, but we'll have to see about that. Yeah. And also the Hudson felt also really, really good. Saved a lot of push to pass, so I can push in the last laps with my tires to get these guys out of DRS.
Well, brilliant, Mark. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm sure you'll want to go and cool off now, with the prevailing weather being what it is. So we'll look forward to seeing you. I think Monza is next up, if I'm not mistaken. So thanks very much for joining us, and congratulations from all of us in the broadcast team.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Mark. So we'll bring in Alex Zeuuw, our second place driver. Ross, why don't you start off, buddy?
Oh, do I have to? It's Alex Laho. Oh, God.
No.
This
no.
guy.
Not him.
Alex, great drive from yourself, mate. Second place, really, really solid. Obviously, still maintaining that championship lead if it has come down just a little bit. But we saw yourself. Obviously, you were kind of playing it safe early doors in the first stint. Got the race lead a bit here and there. Second stint though, main question I've got: what was the game plan between you and Jan? We kind of saw you swapping places. Was that a bit of on the team radio going, okay, maybe I'm faster, maybe I can attack Mark, or was it just free reign, have your fun, see if you can get him?
Well, you do have a point, but first off, hello guys, thanks for the stream and commentating. Well,
Hi.
The game plan for the first team was just like parking the bus. You know how England plays football? Well, that's the exact same thing, just park the bus. But then we figured that Mark just had insane race pace with dead tires on both compounds as well. He was quicker on the mediums than the hards, but he still was just quicker overall. So that's kudos to him. He managed a great race, and the win is fully deserved for him. But yeah, we tried throwing some stuff at him, you know, slingshots, teamwork, but we just didn't have the pace to conclude in the end.
Well, one more question from me before I hand over to Amir, David, if anything. 3 rounds left. Got a pretty solid lead in the championship table. Not quite a race victory, but it's enough for the time being. How are you feeling going into the dying phases of the year?
You're gonna jinx it, man. You're gonna completely jinx it. No, 3 more rounds to go. We'll see. We will put more work into it, because the dedication really wasn't there. Just not enough laps, not enough practice overall. So I guess I'll try to prioritize the series more. That's the best I can do, and try to find something in the setup as well, because they must have definitely found something. They were quick today. They were quick.
Well, I
That's
just
all I
wanted
can
to
say.
say thank you. Thanks for a fantastic race, Alex. You 3 guys battling up the front today was magnificent racing and fantastic entertainment for us, and hopefully for the viewers on YouTube. So thank you for all your efforts and for a fine performance and what's becoming a very tightly contested championship.
Yep. Well, there's not really much to say more besides like just let's have fun. Let's try to make a good result out of the 3, and yeah, 15 points gap, 3 rounds to go. Everything can happen, of course. Yeah, and now I've got AC. I have an AC now, so I'm not dying of heat.
Oh, you lucky mother.
Well done. Well
Yeah.
done.
I was so happy driving with AC, man, instead of like driving in 40-degree weather, because it's still a heat wave in France. You have no idea.
Curious question on my end though. We've seen a lot of people pit very variably for the mediums. One case was Myrna, who pit, I think, from me and Ross while we were speaking in the booth, and David as well, 14 laps, which we would consider too early. But in comparison, on your first stint on the mediums, we saw you pit until lap 20, and then you pit and then rejoined 7th. Did you feel that comfortable into the mediums, or did you feel like it dropped off after a while? What was your how did you feel in that compound in particular?
I felt absolutely awful on the mediums. So that's why I stayed on them, just to lose the race. No, I'm just kidding. But I tried to get the overcut going for just, you know, having a tire advantage on the guys. Since I knew they were gonna be driving in a pack anyway, in the same pack, my job was to try and climb back up the 3 seconds gap that they made with the undercut and just climb my way. And that's what I did. But eventually just Mark's race pace was way too much, even for like 1 lap advantage. It was way too much. And Ross, I'm looking at your DMs.
What felt better, finishing P2 in FSR or racing with the AC on?
Don't know what you're talking about, man.
I prefer not to answer.
Well, Alex, thank
That's
you
fine.
very much for a fantastic performance and fantastic entertainment. And I can see now that the 3rd member of the podium, Jan Granqvist, is in the waiting room. So we might bring in Jan, and we'll see you at the next round, which I think is at Monza.
Yep,
Fantastic,
it is Monza.
Alex.
It's gonna be near my birthday as well, so I have to win this.
Okay.
No choice, no choice. My
Very
first
good.
race as a 24-year-old,
Oh,
so I have to win.
I can't remember 24.
But yeah,
Okay,
we'll bring
we'll bring Jan in.
yeah,
Cheers,
bring Jan, the
Alex.
goat. Cheers,
Bye.
guys, and
Bye.
have a good evening.
You too.
You too.
A group. Hello.
Welcome, Jan. How was it for you?
Sweaty.
You haven't got the air conditioning. Alex was just bragging about having aircon.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a luxury for us sim racers for sure.
So what was your takeaway from the race? How did the teamwork go? Did you feel you were on the right strategy when you saw other people around you doing different strats, like starting on the hard or pitting early and doing 2 medium stints?
Yeah, I wasn't too bothered with what the others were doing. Just based on the little amount of data we gathered through the weekend, just stick with what we knew. And it was always going to be a medium to hard one-stopper for us. And I think Mark also proved that probably one of the most efficient strategies today was just to go for a one-stopper. So yeah, not surprised with the result. Mark did really well today. Really strong driving, strong setup on their end. Was struggling to match that, and also even with Alex going for the overcut, technically having a tyre delta by the end, still proven a bit too difficult for us. So yeah, props to him. Props to Alex as well. He did really well, consistent driving, and yeah, not much else to say here. Wouldn't have done too much differently. It was just a matter of what happens.
Well, you might be surprised to hear that Mark Schluter coming in thought it was going to be a 2-stop, but he just hung on when you guys just kept going on the mediums. He just followed what you guys were doing, and switched strategies to a 1-stop. So it's interesting how that worked out, but it was a fantastic battle. Do you guys have any particular questions that you'd like to ask Jan? Ross or Amir?
Yeah, we'll jump in. Go on then, if we're there. Obviously, Jan, great drive once again. Yourself. Yeah, saw some fights between yourself and Alex towards the end. Do you think maybe if there'd have been team orders, not team orders necessarily, but if there'd have been just stay together, focused on the race, you could have caught Mark, or do you think Mark was just a bit too far away from himself?
To be honest, it was moves made based on mutual respect. I mean, we talked to each other mid-race, communicate our intentions. So no, I don't think we realistically lost too much time whenever we were driving together. In fact, I mean, you probably saw at the start, I was giving slipstream to Alex just to make sure Mark doesn't get past too early. So yeah. As for actually, the surprising thing is, I communicated with Alex on the final few laps that you might have seen. I went past him. I told him I really want to have a crack at this, and I'll give him back the position. By the end, obviously, he's fighting properly for the championship, whereas I've had my break and not necessarily in the same point situation. So yeah, went for my opportunity for a lap, which actually proved something else that gave us just that slight glimmer of a hope there, which was we actually gained time by using the DRS and slipstreaming through the long camel straight. So as soon as I noticed that, obviously I didn't gain too much then for the rest of the lap on Mark, but then Alex kept right behind me so he could try that in the next lap in the camel, and that's what allowed him to get the DRS off of Mark in the final laps. But it was still not quite enough. It was close though.
Yeah, I saw that happening. It looked to me like one of those, I was telling the guys on the commentary, it looked to me like one of those bicycle races in the Olympics. I think it's called a Madison, where one driver grabs the other one's arm and flings them forward, and it just had that vibe about it when you guys were catching the DRS and flinging the other guy forward. And it took us a while to cotton onto it. We were thinking, oh, they're getting in each other's way, and then I was thinking, no, they're helping each other slingshot. So.
Exactly, yeah. It surprised me as well. That wasn't the original intention as I went slingshotted past Alex, but I realised that, and well, Alex has a championship to race for. I'm still in it, but I'm happy to help my teammate for that, and it's always nicer to have good relations with your teammate, especially looking to just absolutely dominate the constructors as well. So. Yeah. It's always easier when you have a good relationship with your teammate.
Wise words indeed. Well, if there aren't any
got a good relationship with Alex Laho, to be fair.
So are we all good now, guys? Did you have any particular things you wanted to ask Amir, or have we covered it all?
Yeah, not just one thing, Grangfist. Well done on a podium. I know it's been so close to the race when definitely gave Schluter a run for his money. 3 races through left to go, and you find yourself, I think, just about a point behind from Brashok for P3 in the championship standings. Do you have any personal goals for yourself that you want to set to come through the final 3 rounds in Monza, Singapore, and Interlagos?
I'd like to win them, but it's easier said than done.
Well, lofty goals anyway. Beautiful.
That's a quick answer. Thanks very much for your time, Jan. And
Thanks, guys.
Very, very well done on your podium, and we look forward to seeing you back in Monza.
Yeah, see you then.
Cheers, John.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Hey, that's us. Wow, that was a relatively long interview process for FSR standards.
We just managed to chuck Remco out of the broadcast booth as well. Then
I think... Yeah, I'll take the blame. Must have been me. So who wants to wrap this up? One of
Go on, Amir.
Oh God.
You started it, Amir, so finish it.
I started it, I ended it. I know, what a great championship this has certainly been in terms of the world. Alex Laho has got himself another sorry, give me a minute. Mark Schluter finds himself another race win out to his accolades. It's his first win since in Montreal, and that has allowed the gap to close down to 15 points. We've got 3 rounds left to go. Italy is the first step to our final one. It's also our final one in the European continent. So feel free to tune us in. We'll be a pretty long while after a break. We'll be back at the 2nd of August 2026, both in the World Championship and in the Pro, as we wait to see as the races slowly come to us. We'll have our determination for who will be crowned the 2026 World Champion. Will it be Alex Laho or Mark Schluter? Those are our 2 main contenders, and we will see who will emerge victorious come through this year. But again, thanks very much to David O'Reilly for his fantastic analytics and also for his race directing. Thank you very much to Ross McIntyre in terms of a late call-up. He's been very phenomenal, especially for leading. And thank you very much to Remco de Zeuuw as well for his fantastic broadcast directing. Thanks as well to Thomas Lenz as well for his also race directing, and thank you as well to the viewers for watching and to the drivers for participating, including our podium series Schluter, Laho and Grangfist for their interviews. But until then, we'll see you over at the Circuit de Nationale in Monza. I've been Amir Oates, and we'll see you in August. Take care.